You're listening to the Really Very Crunchy podcast with your hosts, Emily
and Jason.
And today we're talking about the 2 G's.
Setting goals and
grit.
Not your breakfast variety grits. We're talking get down to it. And
how long ago did you decide you were going to make that joke?
About 5 minutes ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought so. It felt too quick. Like, you can tell when somebody's really witty.
I'm offended.
But there needs to be a beat. You said it so quickly that I knew it was pre-planned.
Not breakfast grits. I got it in there.
Oh.
I was so eager for the joke that my timing was off, huh?
It was just too quick.
I'm so sorry.
No,
well,
it's fine.
I love grits.
You did think of it. You thought of it.
Yeah.
I like cheesy grits.
Yeah, same.
Regular grits are kind of bland.
Well, put butter and stuff in it, but it's good, you know.
It's probably been 15 years since I even had grits.
You don't want them too sticky or too runny. You got to get them just right.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like oats.
Yeah.
All right. That's enough breakfast talk because it's 9 at night. You know what grit is, Emily? Grit is, this is my definition for it. Grit is you're downstairs cleaning the kitchen. It's my night to put the kids down. You fall asleep putting the kids down, and you wake up and realize, oh, it's 9 o'clock. We need to record a podcast because we have determined we're going to do it, and that's what we're doing right now.
Yep. One a week for a year, no matter what.
No matter what.
I mean, honestly, yeah, I hope this isn't insensitive. Your mom passed away 2 weeks ago.
Thanks for bringing that up.
After she passed away, we had to record a podcast because we hadn't done it. And we had to I was trying to convince you to do one about grief. And you're like, no, it's too soon. Let's just do it about whatever it was about that week.
Yeah.
But you have to just keep pushing, keep going. And I'm not saying that it's not okay to take a break, take time. But that is one example of us showing grit.
Yeah, well, for just a deeper explanation of that is that I feel like, yes, it was tough. And yes, the past several weeks, and we'll get into it in a later talk, I'm sure. I really don't feel up to talking about it right now that much, but it has been tough. But we've only done so few episodes that I feel and felt that okay,
we can't just take a break.
We need to take a break, guys. It's like maybe if we were 200 episodes in or something, let's take a break. But I think we just
now started. We just now have people sponsoring our podcast.
Yeah.
We just are getting into the groove.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So if I wasn't quite with it in whatever episode that was, sorry. I wonder what's wrong with Jason. Well, things. All right. But before we get into all that, I would love to go into some comments of the week because we've had a couple of bangers this week.
Have we?
Yeah. Well, I have to say, thank you, Josh and Jenny, 1,000 Hours Outside, and kids. We had a great video because of you guys. I didn't think we would. The synchronized swimming video.
Okay, so it started out with me and Jenny in the pool with her, I think she's 14 and 10, her 14-year-old and her 10-year-old.
Uh-huh.
And we were just goofing around, and we decided to make up this synchronized swimming thing.
Me and Josh were just watching.
Yeah, you're just watching it, and we made you record us.
Uh-huh.
And then her son came in, and he was like, I want to do that.
I don't even remember. I want
to join you guys. And so then we re-synchronized it.
It was great.
And then, I don't know, we were like, film us to you guys. And then we were like, wait, no, you guys join us.
Yeah.
It ended up being so fun.
It was really fun.
Funny. They're a really great family.
Oh, so much fun to be around. And I actually, it kind of inspired me while I was thinking about this and I saw this comment. We should probably do an episode about friendships. That'd be kind of neat.
Yeah.
I lost a friendship tonight. I'm just kidding.
I think you should leave that in there. We just won't say what it's about.
I'm
we
kidding.
Can say what it's about.
No, we're not. All right. Organically Amy on Instagram on the synchronized swimming video said, "Are you accepting applications for friends? Where do I sign up?" Okay, the comment, whatever, you're great, you're nice, whatever. But it really spoke to me, thinking, I really should save this for the friendship podcast, but people don't have friends who will just go synchronized swim with them.
I know. It's sad. I mean, honestly, I don't think I've had friends who would be up for synchronized swimming until Jenny and Josh.
Oh, yeah.
Before that,
maybe one or two.
You think?
Yeah.
Maybe like female friends, but not a couple.
Full family friends. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't think.
That's a rare, special thing.
I can't think of a guy friend I have right now that would just like look at me and say, "You want to synchronize swim with the family?" Heck yeah, man. Let's do it.
Yeah.
It was fun.
I know. The joy in your face in the video.
Oh, I was putting it on a little
I know
bit.
you were
I had
putting
my
it
show
on,
face on.
But I also could see genuine joy in your eyes.
I was having fun. It was actually that whole trip, like spending time with Jenny and Josh and family. It helped reset me.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that was really healing for you. That was a really good time when you're experiencing grief and then you have an opportunity to really just rest and laugh and joke around and relax. Like, that was so good for you. I can see a spark in your eyes.
Yeah. All right. The next comment is from Belle of the Wood on Instagram in the most recent bathroom video.
Oh, that video was so hard. People don't really know this about me, but I'm sort of a germaphobe. That is not crunchy at all, but I sort of am. I lost a friendship once because
Is this the friendship podcast?
No, it's not.
Man.
But let me just say this. This girl showed up to our play dates every single time her kids had so much snot just resting on their faces. Just like, the little kid snot.
Yeah.
And like, they can't keep up with wiping it. So they're licking their upper lip all the time, like to try and keep it at bay. Just so much snot. And my kids got so many colds from her kids.
Sorry for whoever's listening to this at breakfast.
I don't think she listens. Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Eating their grits.
Those are pretty snotty. So anyway, I just said to her once, like, hey, if your kids are sick, do you mind to tell me so I can decide whether or not I'm ready to take that
Friendship
on?
Over.
Man, cut out. It's over. Friends, no more.
Yeah.
It's like, okay.
All right.
I mean, I feel like that's just
valid.
Yeah, that's common courtesy. I do it to people. I'll be like, so-and-so has a little bit of a runny nose. What do you think? Or like,
most people don't care.
Oaks has had a cough for 3 weeks. It's me. I know. But I want to be like, just bring on the germs. What doesn't kill us makes us stronger.
Here's my
but
problem.
I can't.
My problem is one of our kids, and maybe other people deal with this and they just don't care. I mean, we just don't sleep then for like a week or 2 weeks because our kids get sick.
Yeah. Oh, and just like, like the snotting and the sneezing and the coughing in the night. Like,
not worth it. Like, no more friends. We're going to live in an RV. Isolated.
No. But anyway, what was I saying there? Oh, the bathroom one was so hard for me to just like walk in and
it was disgusting.
Be okay with touching things.
Do better, Paducah.
I really.
Your public bathroom is disgusting.
The worst part was when I'm hanging over the door and you're standing in the stall recording me and the automatic toilet flusher keeps going off. So
spraying my leg.
Spraying your leg. And then you came home and you didn't shower and you sat on our furniture.
Yeah, I forgot to shower.
I'm really disturbed.
Yeah, I showered that night, like 8 hours later.
Going to. And I was like, Jason, take a shower. You cannot get in our bed.
All right, let's save this for our germaphobe episode. So, well, I feel weird reading this comment now that we've talked about it so much already. But the fact that some people still won't get the joke and understand that this is a character and not your actual personality, this commitment is on another level. I'd just like to point out that it absolutely is your personality dialed up to like a 12. So I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I want to be helpful.
Yeah.
But I'm definitely not passing sauerkraut over
because of the germaphobness.
Yeah. But
You would be that intrusive.
I would be willing to share.
Yeah. Well, that's good of you.
I mean, these ideas come from somewhere. It's because I was in a stall next to a lady struggling.
Yeah.
And I was like, Jason, we have to do a podcast like this.
If you're around us, you are not safe. You might inspire an idea.
Is safe.
We won't name you.
Rachel
was constipated.
No.
I have no idea. I just made up.
Rachel listens. My friend Rachel listens to this.
I was
not Rachel.
I was not thinking about her in particular. It was the first name that came to my head. But sorry, Rachel. You need some sauerkraut, I guess.
No, she doesn't. I think she's fine. I mean, if you are, then I can hook you up.
In a bathroom stall.
So my library, our local library, decided to do this little walking book discussion about my book. They do one every month, and I showed up for it. And we were talking about all the different ways we're crunchy and how we were raised. And one of the ladies said her family, for fun, would go pick up trash. Like they made sticks with nails on the end, and they would just pick up trash along the highways. And that was like their family fun activity.
Well, that's really nice.
Really crunchy.
That's awesome.
Really fun. I'm sort of inspired. But she said...
It's not that fun to me, but like that's really cool.
Yeah.
Does not sound like fun.
Okay. Well, kind of sounds like fun to me. Saving the earth by cleaning it up. Anyway.
Rather have a prisoner do it.
That's so rude.
They're the ones that got in trouble.
Okay.
All right.
So she said her family would get really excited because if they found a can of beer, her mom would use it to wash their hair to add volume to it. It was like a thing. They didn't buy beer, I guess, but if they found one on the side of the road, and I was like, a used beer can? She said, no, they found new beer on the side of the road.
Okay, because I'm thinking like, where we live, they're like spit and dip in it and stuff and everything else. Like, this is a gross podcast. Sorry.
No.
But yeah, okay.
Full cans of beer for adding volume to the hair. And that sounds like a video.
Sounds a little stinky.
Yeah, she said it smelled bad.
Huh.
It was stinky.
Okay. You smell drunk, but your hair looks great. Why is it important to set goals?
That's like total 180 there. So I think for us, if we set goals, then we're more likely to follow through.
Yeah.
If you say, I want to do this.
Yeah.
And I know there are some things that say if you state something publicly, like if you
tell your friends or whatever,
then you're not going to do it.
Oh, really?
I've heard.
Oh, because it gives you the feeling.
It gives you the satisfaction of doing it. Yeah, the feeling like exercising. If you tell people I'm going to start exercising every day or something, or I'm going to lose weight, then you're less likely to do it. I read that around New Year's.
It sounds familiar. Yeah, but that it feels like a twist, though. I didn't remember it that way. That's cool. That's crazy.
So
do not state your goals to the public.
Maybe.
Well.
Then, I mean, there's the other side of it where people can hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Right? But is anybody holding you accountable? I don't know. What are some of the big goals that we've made that you can see an obvious thing that we achieved?
Yeah. Well, with Really Very Crunchy, it's gone in stages. The first year was a video every single day. And then...
That was so hard.
It was so hard.
It's like we totally ran out of ideas after
we ran out of
30
ideas.
Days.
Yeah. A solid month in.
Yeah.
We're out of ideas probably every week.
And at that point, I was coming up with most of them.
Yeah.
I would go sit down and try and think of 7 days worth of ideas for like 2 or 3 hours. Mm-hmm. And then we would film like every night. Every night. That's what we did after we put the boys down to bed.
Yeah. And that what you're describing is what is typically known and is popularized by, I think, Angela Duckworth as grit. She had she wrote a book. I think it's just called Grit. And she's had a really famous TED Talk come out about grit and what that means. And so grit, by definition, is passion. Well, of course, how she defines it. Grit is passion and perseverance for long-term and meaningful goals. Perseverance being I think, in my opinion, key there, because you just gotta keep going.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a passion for it. You have to keep going with whatever it is, whether you're talking about your health, whether it's something like a video every day, trying to grow your social media, whatever. You have to have a passion for what you're doing, and you have to keep doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And
because it's not always going to be easy. Even if you love something, it's still so hard at times.
yeah, I think that there might be a misconception. Maybe it's my own thing out there, but the misconception being that grit is always doing something you don't like. But I guess in a way it is true, because even if you love something, like for instance, I really enjoy writing fiction, right?
Mm-hmm.
But you still have to do a lot of things you don't like in writing a book, or really very crunchy. I love making the videos.
Mm-hmm.
I love writing them, editing them, putting them out there, and seeing people enjoy them. Some days I really hate the whole process because it's just hard and I'm tired. And
we've wanted to quit so many times. We're just like, let's just get a regular job. Let's just go back to what we were doing because this is so hard. It doesn't seem like it's hard, but just to push yourself to be so creative constantly,
that's tough.
Is just mentally draining.
And you feel
then
like
also continuing to parent, continuing to look for ways to grow our brand, grow our business, while also like I'm designing our downstairs bathroom, which takes creativity. And
right now we're doing a podcast for people who like it, I guess.
We so appreciate everyone who listens to this podcast.
But I mean, it is what time is it? It is 9:30, and we're working. We're not on Netflix. This is grit. I want to say that again.
You're like, I don't want to be here.
I just want everybody to know I really don't want to be doing this right now.
Stop.
I'm kidding. I love it.
But you do. You have a lot of grit, because I've watched you write 20 books. You know, there are people out there who are like, one day I'd like to write a book. And you're like, do it.
That is something that's interesting to me. Because I've written a lot, and it actually had some measure of success. Go look it up, Jason D. Morrow on Amazon.com. People inevitably have come up to me and talked to me about how they just want to write a book. And I'm always open and free to give advice and talk to people. I mean, you know, I'm not some New York Times bestseller or anything like that, but like
I have over 1,000 reviews on some of your books.
Several of them.
I know. Here I am sitting over here with what, 200, 300 reviews?
356. No,
well, come on. If you're listening to this and you read my book, go leave a review so I can beat Jason. It's officially
it's a race.
Competition.
It's a race. Yeah.
Well, do I get 10 years to do it?
Yeah. You can have 10 years to catch up. But we'll see where you are in 10 years and see if it measures up. I think you're doing a lot faster than I ever did.
I don't know.
It took me a little while to get it out there. Anyway, so people would inevitably come up to me and start talking to me about the writing process and what do I need to do to get a book out there? And it's like, well, write it.
Mm-hmm.
Sit down, write it.
It's not going to get written unless you write it.
And also, your first book's going to stink.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're then going to take that book, finish editing it, throw it away, and then write another one.
And then throw that one away.
Possibly.
And then maybe even the third one.
Maybe the third one.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nobody can find my first 3 books right now. So, I mean, they're out there somewhere. But anyway.
My parents probably have a copy. We should do a giveaway.
Yeah. I mean, it was a good concept. The writing's not that great, but you know.
Yeah, but you have to keep going. And so one thing you did that I've always been sort of impressed by, I don't know why I've been impressed by this, but You used to love playing video games.
Oh, yeah.
Like
I did.
when we lived abroad, I'd go out on the weekends, find Korean friends, explore, hang out, and you'd stay home and play Legend of Zelda or whatever.
Not every weekend,
Not
I wouldn't. I
every
do
weekend,
stuff
but-
with you all the time.
I know, but a lot of times.
No,
Like,
okay, don't paint a picture of me as being that guy.
you
who
aren't that guy.
All I ever did was play video games. No.
No, but
I did like them.
You probably played them 3 to 5 times a week.
Sure, yeah.
And it didn't like control your life. No.
But I get it.
But you liked it. You enjoyed it. That was a hobby.
Mm-hmm.
And then you decided, if I could be playing video games, I could be writing.
Yeah.
So then you sold your game system.
Yeah.
You're like, the only way I'm going to do this is if I just get rid of it altogether. So you did.
And then I wrote more books.
And then you wrote way more books. And I've always been so impressed by that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, because that's grit. You want to get it done. So you give up something you like, even though it's fun.
And now all I know to do is work. All I do is work. That's it. I have no downtime.
That's not true. You just played with the boys on the trampoline.
I did. It was so much fun. We were playing a little tag on this trampoline. It's like 5x5.
That's downtime, right?
Yeah.
That's not parenting.
No.
That's not grit at all.
No.
Investing in your children.
Let's talk about parental grit. It's
hard.
If I was thinking about this, grit, I think in parenting is always trying to do your best at parenting, because that looks different for everyone else. Different kids require different levels of, good parenting.
Mm-hmm.
Different parents have the different capacity for good parenting. Good parenting is in air quotes because it's kind of relative. Grit is really trying in parenting.
And that's exhausting.
And it's exhausting.
Like, I'm going to be honest here. I don't always want to put forth the effort to connect with our kids.
What?
It's so hard sometimes to play. And I'm not saying that parents need to be out playing with their kids all the time. But I do think it's important to do what your kids want to at points, to fill up their cup.
Well, to allow them to lead and then but that's exhausting.
It's so exhausting.
Well,
now you're going to say this.
Yeah.
Now you're going to say that.
Alder loves that game especially because he wants you to do everything he says, but then he changes it midway and it's like a constant. But he's having so much fun.
Yes, I know. And I can see that it fills his cup, but I don't want to do it all the time. And I don't do it all the time, but I'm saying I don't even want to do it once a day.
Ever, any day.
It's hard. It's hard to choose connection when I have other things I'd rather be doing. I played with the boys on the trampoline as well today, and they're wanting to play this game where they're gingerbread men and I have to chase them, and it's just exhausting.
It's a non-toxic trampoline, by the way.
But I know that it's important because when you develop those core memories and that foundational relationship is going to last. It's going to carry us through because this is building trust and it's grit.
Yeah.
Because it's something I want. I want a good relationship with our kids, but not just playing, choosing not to yell.
Mm-hmm.
Making the conscious decision to use a calm and kind voice in every interaction is so hard.
Yeah.
That's probably one of your weaknesses.
Who has more grit there than you and I? Who has more grit in that? The person who has a harder time not raising their voice. So I have more grit.
It's not hard for me not
grit.
to raise my voice generally because I really don't want to be that parent.
Yeah.
But yes, I think it is more grit for you.
Mm.
But it's more grit for me to follow through. Today we had a play date and Alder was losing it. I don't know. He was like, "You never play what I want to play," to Oaks. Having just a massive fit. I had to climb up in a treehouse thing because he was getting aggressive towards Oaks. I had to carry
10 feet off the ground.
carry him down, take him to the car, have a little chat. But then he was just being really rude and disrespectful. And like for me, it's easier to just shrug it off and be like, "Yeah, kids." But it's really, we're working on some certain behaviors.
Yeah.
And so I had to be consistent and like take him aside again. And it's exhausting. But when you put in the effort, then hopefully you yield a reward.
Well, but I mean, I think a big part of parenting grit is pivoting and then, realizing when the pivot doesn't work. And then
pivot again,
pivot back in a different direction. And I mean, we've had a pivot with Alder, especially, and it has in the last couple of weeks has really started to pay off. And he's like a little bit happier, a little less aggressive in a lot of situations, and it's nice to finally, when you're actually in the trenches, to finally start to see some small wins. And honestly, that keeps you going. Seeing those small wins. It's hard when, for whatever situation you're in, behavior, or, whatever, when you're not seeing a win, it's easy just to like fall into, I guess, easy parenting. Again, air quotes. I'm just saying easy parenting, but it's easy to just not try as hard.
Yeah.
I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Or if it sounds like I'm saying nonsense maybe, but.
No, we can just talk about this a little. Our 4-year-old was just really struggling. I mean, just having a hard time behaviorally. And we were taking a certain approach and it clearly was not working for us. So we just decided, okay, wait. I think our expectations might be a little too high.
Yeah.
We're going to try and treat him a little more like a baby, right?
Or younger, Just like a little younger than we thought.
And it has really
worked.
paid off.
It's really worked.
It's not that we don't expect him to listen. We do. But we're like being more hands-on, more
understanding.
Yeah.
Just really understanding where he is.
Yeah, had to shift our perspective.
But when you have an almost 7-year-old and you have a 4-year-old and you're talking to both of them, it's very easy to lapse in and default to the older because it's closer to what an adult talks like. And that's what we're used to doing. That's what you and I are doing right now. I can't talk to Alder like I'm talking to you right now.
Yeah.
But sometimes I do.
Yeah.
And he's like, I've heard him say, I don't understand what you're saying. And that's kind of like, whoa, okay.
I mean, we've always talked to our kids like they're adults. He can't always grasp the concepts that we're trying to relay to him, I guess.
Yeah.
But also him, like, he knows how to put his own shoes on. Like, that is a skill he has mastered. But he sometimes wants help. And we were like, no. You know how to put your shoes on. We're not doing that. You put your shoes on. But then I started helping him, and now he doesn't even ask. Like, he puts his shoes on without a problem.
He's looking for connection.
He just wanted that.
Yeah.
And so I did that without making it a thing, and now it's never an issue anymore.
Right.
So weird.
Do you have grit?
I think so. I mean,
That's a weird question.
That is weird.
It was obviously you have grit.
I mean, like I've done the really very crunchy stuff.
The book was as gritty as I've ever seen you.
I know. Well, I feel like that's partially my fault because I had a longer deadline, or I had quite a bit of time, and I put it off until December, and it was due in March. So then I really had to just hammer it out. Keep writing every single day to make it work. So I wrote that book in about 3 months.
Yeah.
And that was hard.
Yeah.
That was really hard. But I also had other people depending on me, and I was getting paid for it. So I feel like that's less gritty because it's a job.
Well, it's still grit because you're still trying to do the best you possibly can for your future, and but I get that. Yeah.
But like not having an epidural in birth, that is pretty gritty. Because you want it. You want it. And you really want it.
Yeah.
Like that is accessible. It could stop my pain right now.
Okay, yeah.
If you're in that.
If you've birthed a baby, you have grit.
Yeah, I mean,
Yes,
even if you had an
measure of
epidural,
grit.
you still have grit.
Yeah.
It's still hard.
It's still a process.
But like, I just think that's one example.
One thing that I came across when reading about this stuff is that grit, it's sort of like this badge of honor sort of thing. Like, he's got grit. He's one of the grittiest people I know. He's going to get it done.
Why are you saying he all the time?
Because I'm talking about myself.
Okay.
No, but there's a danger there of not ever being content. If you're so goal oriented and you need grit to obtain these goals, I am very much so a person that is not often very content.
Both of us.
And I envy people who are content all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes long to just be completely content without having to set a goal.
Because at some point you do need to be content. Like at some point
you
have
to be content
decide
with certain parts of yourself and your life, I guess.
Yeah, but even career-wise, you have to decide like what's enough. Where are you pushing yourself too much?
Are you trying to tell me something?
I'm not, but we have talked about this because of me homeschooling, and like it has taken more from me. Mm-hmm. And so like your grittiness also affects me.
Yeah.
Especially in this platform.
Yeah. Not everybody has grit, by the way.
Yeah.
However, what I came across in the reading was that grit is kind of it's innate for some people. It's just they're basically born driven or whatever.
I think my dad made me gritty because when I was a little kid, he used to always be like, my daughter can do the best push-ups. Look at her. Drop and give me 20. Like anywhere. And sometimes I was like, man, I'm tired. I'm going to keep going.
Yeah.
He drove it into me.
Yeah.
He was a Marine.
You have the right motivation.
At one point.
Yeah. But other, grit, factors of grit it's learned. I mean, for people who don't have it in them, you learn it over time.
Mine was probably learned.
Yeah, well, I think mine might have been learned. I don't know.
I feel like yours was in you because you've always wanted to do stuff. You've always tried to figure something out.
I certainly didn't have grit through middle school and high school.
Not about the things that you didn't care about. You have to care about it. Like you said, one of the key factors is passion.
Definitely didn't have a passion about school.
No, but like when you wanted to learn video editing, you did it. You didn't care. That's something that people, even myself included, if I'm like, oh, I wish I could sew my own clothes, which I do. I've been saying that for years. Like, just do it, Emily. Sew your own clothes.
So do we not do it because we're tired?
I don't do it because it's a mess. It costs money. There's an investment there on fabric. And like, I don't want to mess it up. It goes back to that one podcast episode about analysis paralysis, sort of, but it's also sort of like, is it worth it? Meh.
So then what happens? What do you do instead of those things?
I thrift. I just thrift cool clothes.
No, I mean, with the time you could be making clothes. Let's say it's
right now I'm recording a podcast.
Well, okay. Touche.
I mean, a lot of my time is eaten up by Really Very Crunchy, which was your brainchild of an idea. So I spend a lot of time on that.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's not where I thought that would go.
No, but you're just saying some people don't ever make a move. They're not gritty. They don't do anything to change it. And they just live their life wanting.
And I'm trying to figure out, why don't people make a move? When that person comes up to me and says they want to write a novel, why don't they sit down and write something?
Fear of failure.
You think that's
a huge one.
So I don't want to say people are lazy, but is it laziness or are people afraid to fail?
A little bit of both.
Really?
Yeah. They're lazy because they'd rather watch TV.
Maybe not the same people.
Not the same people. Some people. Some people are lazy because they don't actually want to do it. They're just like, well, yeah, I do want to do that, but the new whatever trending show is on. So I'll do it after that. And some people are scared that they're going to fail. They're never going to get it published. They're never going to, it's not going to be good. They're going to write it and be like, well, I'm actually not a good writer. Or, you know
what will 100% make you fail?
Never doing it.
Never doing it.
True.
But that goes with anything, whether you want to sew your own clothes, or do you fear that your clothes are going to look weird? Get better.
Not fear that my clothes are going to look weird, just fear that I wasted my time.
But then you could have spent your time learning it.
Yeah.
Anything you spend your time learning will never be.
I want a teacher. I want somebody to teach me.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's hard. I'm not really a visual learner. Like you go to YouTube and you watch videos.
Yeah.
I've tried to watch videos of knitting. I can't get it. I need somebody to put their hand on my hand and be like, here's how you do it.
This is a shout out to anybody who's willing to give Emily lessons.
And teach me to knit and teach me to sew my own clothes.
We'll pay you in sourdough.
That is something I could just read about because it's very step by step.
Mm-hmm.
There's not, for me, there hasn't been a lot of problem solving. Just do it.
I do think there's a lot of laziness out there.
Yeah.
There are people.
And maybe it's not the laziness of the actual act, but it's like everything that goes along with it. Like sourdough is a mess. It is so annoying to clean everything.
So much easier to go watch a movie.
And just buy bread.
But I want to say to people, out of all the hours you put into watching TV every night or scrolling on your phone every night, how many things could you have done? Yes, you're tired. Yes, you have to use your brain to do those things. But honestly, here's the thing about doing those things. Once you get about, whether it's writing, making something, learning any kind of new hobby, even if you feel tired, when you're actually about 10 to 15 minutes into it, it's actually it becomes fun.
You get energized.
You get energized from it, and it becomes a little bit fun.
Okay, here's
Yes,
one.
you might get stuck, and then maybe that's a good time to just call it quits for the night, and then go back to it. Go ahead.
I want to learn how to do a handstand. Like a real handstand.
Start with a wall, right?
Yeah, but I am tired.
Yeah. I'm just going to go with the lazy on that one. It's not that difficult to just
I've been blaming my age,
You're 35.
Yeah, I've been blaming my age. Anyway,
you're not allowed to blame your age till 50.
I can do an amazing cartwheel, round off, that kind of stuff. I've got it. I'm on it. I look like a gymnast out there.
Okay.
Trying to do a handstand. And so I've been blaming my age, but there are other moms at Forest Friends who can do handstands. I saw them do it, and they're not that much younger than me.
Sounds like you just need to practice.
I think it's my centrifugal balance.
I think you're making excuses. What are you afraid of, Emily? The wall?
What if I break my wrist? That would really stink.
Then you have a story to tell.
Trying to learn how to do a handstand, and I'm so lame.
Jennifer Crawford, PhD at UNM Psychiatry and Behavioral Sciences, said, if we don't care about why we're doing it, then it makes it really difficult to stick with that new behavior or new habit. And it's way easier to change things up when you know your why. What is the why? Why do you want to do a handstand? Do you know your why?
So I can impress my kids.
I don't think that's a bad reason. Seriously, though. That is fun. I think that's a worthy
cool party trick. You know what my party trick is right now? When I was in first grade, I had my tonsils removed, and they messed up the IV.
Oh, my gosh.
And there's a hole in my inner elbow. It's pierced. I can put an earring through my inner elbow. Dangly earring, hanging down.
That's a pretty lame party trick.
That's my party trick.
Yeah.
Come on.
It's more than what I have. I don't know.
I mean, I can do a cartwheel, but that's old. You know, like that's not cool. I have two brothers who are very gymnastic-y. What is the word? Acrobatic?
I think it's gymnastic-y.
Yeah. They can like do flips and...
Yeah, gymnasty.
And I have a brother who can balance anything on his chin. Like our family,
what,
like a ladder, a bicycle. He can just balance stuff on his chin. Maybe I should take that up instead of a handstand. I'm just going to start balancing stuff on my chin. Like, that's a pretty cool party trick.
I think that's a horrible idea. You have a bad neck.
That's true.
It wouldn't work.
Well,
handstand, you'll be fine. Just don't land on your neck.
I don't know. I just need a good party trick. I don't even get invited to parties, but if it ever happens, then I'll be ready.
Maybe you shouldn't learn to handstand. Hey guys, I know we just met, but look what I can do.
I can do a handstand. Okay, you know those people.
Like,
there's
this
like
is a black tie affair.
There's a certain type of person who can ride a unicycle. You know it. You know there's.
Yeah, I know. I know a
type.
few of them. Yeah.
I could be that person. Am I the type?
Are you gonna play an accordion while you do it?
I mean that person really appeals to me.
No, they're usually very talented people.
I know.
It just
a lady
takes
who
a certain confidence, and it usually comes with an overbearingness.
Not necessarily
Not
accordion.
but...
I feel like definitely the unicycle.
Okay.
But I know a lady who plays the accordion so beautifully. She used to live on a road. It was so cool to like be on a walk.
There's a difference between like a classic accordionist and like someone who's like playing Particle Man while he's on his like little unicycle.
True fact. Both of my parents at one point in their childhood took accordion lessons.
Oh, it's written in the stars for you, dear.
Neither of them can play it, but it's like I could fulfill
that. Is also written in the stars for you. Grit is one thing, but in order to have grit, you got to set your goals. So you have to figure out what you want to do, what you want to accomplish in whatever part of your life. What is important is that your goals are actionable. You don't want goals that are just dream goals are great.
I want to be a millionaire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not
a goal. That's a dream.
Mm-hmm.
I learned early on there's a difference between goals and dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Dreams are what you daydream. You literally just daydream about. Goals are what you have,
actionable steps.
You can take steps to get to that point.
Mm-hmm.
And so if you can have a big goal, if you have a big goal in mind, whether it's parenting, whether it's setting up for a party, whether it's making your own clothes, knitting, whatever. Like for knitting, you want a good first step is want to learn how to knit a scarf for a small child. So it's a small scarf.
More like a pot holder. Okay. Are there knitted pot holders?
I was thinking scarf because it's just like one line. But, a square pot holder is great. Mm-hmm. Yeah, actionable small steps. You're not going to make a beautiful sweater with a bird on the front of it your first time.
No, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That is still sort of in the dream stage. You got to make goals to get to that dream stage.
What is your dream, Jason?
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I could just be doing anything I ever wanted.
Yeah. Oh, wait. So you that is so funny that your mind is so set on work that you're like that. I could be doing anything I wanted for a job.
I will never stop working. It's a problem.
Okay. Can you work on some of the things I want?
What do you want?
I don't know.
You don't want me to design your bathroom. I promise you that.
Well, there are things I want with the house.
Wallpaper?
No.
Yeah, the kids love it.
There are things I want with the house, and you'll never be interested, and that's fine.
What? Like what?
Like, just go paint the garage.
You want me to go paint the garage?
I mean, like some people are into working like that.
Is that what you want me to do?
Landscaping.
Okay.
Build me some raised beds.
Okay.
And then plant the stuff and then water it and then I'll cut the flowers from it. You will never not work. I understand. So, okay, it just cracked me up because I'm like, what is your dream? And like for me, it's like travel the world. staying in really cool places. And you immediately think,
What was like my dream job?
what's my dream job?
Yeah. And it would be to be a full-time novelist.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Because I just asked you this the other day with Jenny and Josh, and you said a documentarian.
A documentary filmmaker.
Is it not called a documentarian?
I think that can encompass like other types of media, but I could be wrong. Well, no, I mean, that is cool. That is a dream job within film.
Mm-hmm.
I think the question was posed more like, what would you love to do with this
film? Mm-hmm.
Like from really very crunchy onward. I was like, yeah, I would love it to turn into like a TV show that would then get me directing credits, that would then allow me to get funding for a documentary. Yeah, that'd be great. I'd love to be a documentary filmmaker. That'd be awesome. My ultimate dream, if I could just choose what I'm doing, I want to be a novelist. That would be my ultimate goal. Or that would be my ultimate dream.
Are you writing right now?
I'm not, because I'm doing other things.
Yeah.
I mean,
so there you go. There's an example. Like you were saying, what keeps people from doing it? What?
Being at capacity. Or at least feeling like you are. Though I could probably buckle down and start writing again on top of what we're doing, and I can't quite imagine it at the moment.
Well, yeah, we'll revisit that. Having a little moment of realization.
Well, the problem is,
does it make you more sympathetic towards the people who aren't working?
Not if they're not
goals?
working on something else. But that also completely depends on what their life is like.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. But you can't make a blanket statement like that. Like, if listen, the only problem I have with people who are people who say that they really, really, really want something and they spend all of their free time doing nothing. Mm-hmm. That doesn't mean, like, if they're pursuing other interests or other hobbies and actually doing something with their free time, I fully understand that, well, you're at capacity. Maybe it's just not a priority for you to do that thing at this moment. That's fine. But there are really a lot of people who just sit there on their phones. It really comes down to screen time for me. Really, that's what it comes down to. Like, I even don't feel that as bad about it if a person sits at home and reads a book. It's different. If you sit home and you veg out on your couch and you're just scrolling on your phone
and you're not working
watching
towards
TV
a goal,
and you really want this one thing and you're not doing a thing about it, then you don't really want it.
Well, and I think that's another thing. People feel entitled to downtime.
Yeah.
So then,
well, and some jobs are really
I've worked
demanding.
hard, and so now this is my downtime. I'm never going to get that goal because I have to work my job, and in my downtime, I'm not going to work.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, if you're working 12 hours at a rock quarry and you're just dead tired, that's a different story. If you're working a really hard labor job that's a different story. However, if you want that thing, you still have to find time to do it. Otherwise,
it's just not going to happen.
That thing is not going to happen. And that's fine.
Like right on your lunch break.
Yeah.
Right. For 30 minutes at night.
I don't want to tell you how much time I've stolen from my employers. But I had the luxury of an office job, so
well, like your first 12 books you wrote while we were teaching
in Korea, which I had downtime.
You had downtime. I mean, like lesson planning there.
Yeah.
My kids got far more exciting lessons than your kids probably, but that's because I just gave you my
check
lesson
out the
plans.
Starborn Uprising by Jason Morrow, written for you during English class.
I would write the lessons and then I would give them to you. Remember?
Yeah. Well, 1 year. Yeah.
I planned, and then like halfway through the class, you'd like walk over to my classroom, like, what does this mean? What's crepe paper?
Get better penmanship.
And then, like, my kids' art was so good.
Yeah.
And your kids looked really sad.
Listen.
Because they had very little guidance.
Just because they gave me the less artistic kids does not mean
They gave you the more advanced, quote unquote, gifted class.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's so funny.
you know what their problem
Any
is? They were
job-
cocky. It was on them. It was on those 5-year-olds. It's on them.
Any job we were in ever, they're like, oh, Emily seems like she has so much patience. Let's give her the hard kids.
Yeah.
And Jason, you can have the easy, really smart ones.
Brought to you by Prototype D by Jason D. Morrow. There you go.
It always felt like, what? I can't knit in my free time. I don't have any free time.
Well,
Jason's over there writing novels. Let's call it like it is, Jason.
I'm a time
You're
thief.
privileged.
I'm a time thief. That's what I am. Steal company's time. Can't do that with really very crunchy.
No. Stealing your own
What
time.
do they call it now? Quiet quitting. I was just, have you heard about that?
I
don't know. It's just like where they don't really work while they're at work.
People?
Yeah. It was a thing a while back.
I mean, it is stealing. Your face. It is stealing.
Okay.
But I guess it depends on your job. Are you salary or are you hourly?
I got all of my work done
That's what
on
I'm
time,
thinking.
done well.
Yeah. If you're getting all your work done and it's on time and it's done well and you gave it your all and you just don't have anything else to do.
You should do more.
But what if there is no more to do?
There's a lot of times where there's just like actually,
Nothing
and depending on the
left to
job,
do.
obviously,
Yeah.
there's nothing left to do.
Yeah.
And well, especially if you're in a creative job as well, like there's only so much creativity you can output when you're trying to write a novel. Come on. It's like, I don't have the brain capacity to do both. Come on.
You just caught yourself mid-sentence. That was so funny. You're like,
Did you see it in my eyes?
yeah, you're like, in a creative job, there's only so
It's true. You can't go home and be creative. You know, that's, well, you can. You just gotta.
You wrote at night. There were so many times you
Oh,
wrote
yeah.
at night. Yeah.
Yeah. Doctors Edward Locke and Gary Latham published work in 1990 with the theory of goal setting and task performance, stressing the importance of setting goals that were both specific and difficult. So,
Difficult.
at least difficult enough. Emily, you want to do a handstand.
That is
What would-
specific and difficult.
Okay, what is a smaller goal for you to not tonight?
I don't feel
but,
like there's anything smaller. What? It's my weak neck.
Let's take a pivot here. Making clothes.
Okay.
What could you do? Are you specifically
Buy
knitting
a pattern.
or buying a
No,
pattern?
no,
You want to
I'm
do
not.
sewing machine?
Yeah,
okay.
sewing machine.
Okay.
Buy a pattern. I've used a pattern before. I've made a skirt.
So what's what would be the
I didn't like the skirt on me. So it's a pencil skirt. I'm not a pencil skirt kind of person.
yeah.
Yeah, so I need to buy a pattern. I need to find something and buy a pattern and do it.
Yeah. That'd be fun. I'll
Get
help
some
you.
thrifted. Please don't. Please don't.
I'll stick with
I broke my mom's sewing machine making those
did
curtains.
she not fix it?
I don't know. I don't know if she's tried.
We need to ask her.
I didn't even know if I had a sewing machine, and I did.
That's sad.
That's so sad. I went up to my junk
We've
room.
had it
and,
for probably a decade.
well, yeah, I don't remember. Anyway,
Pretty sure I bought it for you.
for my birthday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
When you could have listen. Think
I
if
could
you
be
think
a
if you had
master seamstress
think
by
if
now.
you had started making clothes that birthday 10 years ago or however long ago it was, where would you be right now?
Wearing all handmade clothing, that's for sure.
Mm.
You too.
Oh, well, I'm kind of glad you didn't then, I guess.
Oh, my kids would look so cute in their handmade clothing. Well, I did ask my aunt, who is a really excellent seamstress, if she would teach me to sew, and she said no.
Yikes. Well, I've asked several people to take me hunting and nobody's up for it, so.
I think I even asked my friend point blank. I was like, Jason really wants to learn how to hunt. and your husband's really good at it. And she's like, nah.
Huh. Sweet.
Yeah.
I mean, I get it. I don't feel like it's rocket
Yeah,
science. I know how to point a gun at something and shoot it, but like,
Ew.
it's more so.
Don't talk about it.
What?
I don't like the idea of hunting.
The world might end, and you know how many deer we have around here?
I know. I understand. I get it. I could never be one of those people who processes.
I don't want to do it for fun, which maybe I would after I hunted, but I want to take a deer and then do all the stuff to get the food. How to do it.
Yeah.
And like, I know there's YouTube, but you need the hands-on. You need to know what it feels like.
I don't want. Yeah. And there are so many like really crunchy people out there whose kids help them process chickens, and they like take this pride in the kids being so hands-on and doing it. But I'll just say, when I was a child, I was traumatized because my neighbor gave us a swing set, and then his wife gave us a swing set. And he always used that swing set when it was in his yard to hang up a deer.
Wait, they gave
and
you
process
the
it.
swing set?
They gave me the swing set.
And would put the deer on it?
Listen, no. Here's what it was. When it was in their yard, he always used that to hang up his deer and cut it open, whatever, do all the things.
Oh, it was a bloody second hand.
It was rusty. You couldn't tell. The wife
Rust and blood
gave me the swing set because her kids no longer used it. And I was always going over their yard and swinging on their swing set. She's like, you just want to put it in your yard? You just take that swing set. Okay, well, he went hunting, came back, realized his swing set was gone, came over to my yard and strung up the deer on my swing set. And I went outside to swing, and there it was.
That's a little much.
Yeah. I feel traumatized by it.
I feel like if it's in a different yard, you just kind of...
You just don't. No, this guy's just like, that's my swing set.
Hey, what's my swing set doing over there?
I'll just string it up over there.
Oh, man. That's rough. Yeah, well, it's more so about survival, so I don't really care.
I get it. But I also feel like we'd figure it out.
I mean, if you're hungry enough, you're going to figure it out.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
We have a ton of turkey around us.
I mean, if you just drive enough, you'll hit a deer eventually, so.
Out of gas, Jason.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, anyway, what's your next goal?
Well, it's made clear through this podcast, I'm going to make an appropriate outfit to wear doing a handstand.
And oh, nice. And I'm going to start my next book.
Are you?
I don't know. We'll see. I'm tired. I think I'm going to watch some Netflix.
Oh, that's funny. Actually, no, so I have another thing I want to do. And surprise, I really want to take voice lessons so I can be a good singer. I feel like that would interest you. You have a vested interest in that. Me learning how to sing so we can start a family band.
It would be cool.
I know.
But you're already our bassist, so.
But wouldn't it be cool if I could carry a tune as well?
No, of course.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I
think you do a great job.
Did you, for those of you watching this, did you see those shifty eyes? Did you see the shifty eyes?
You have.
I think you're doing a great job. Eye shift. What do you mean, like doing a great job? I don't hardly ever. I said sing.
I think you do a great job.
You hear me when I'm singing to the boys at night.
It's beautiful.
It's a sad thing. I feel so sad when I hear people who can sing really well, and I imagine them singing lullabies to their children. I feel sad for our children.
I feel sad.
Baba, black sheep.
I feel sad that people can dunk a basketball and I can't. Same thing.
This is the first time I'm hearing this.
I only ever got to touch the rim. I never graduated to full dunk. My brother dunked.
What are you going to do about it, Jason? What are you going to do?
I am certainly...
You're going to practice jumping against a wall?
It's not how it works.
You don't reach up and try and touch a higher spot on the wall?
That might actually work. If you think that's a good idea. I have zero desire. The passion's not there anymore.
Gone.
It was there for like 2 seconds.
Did you do anything about it?
I played basketball. I was more of a 3-point outside shooter guy. Anyway, Anyway, listen, if you're on the fence about something that you want to do,
just try it. Make a small goal, an actionable goal. Send us an email. Tell us what you're doing.
Yeah, that's a great idea. I'd love to read through those.
Yeah.
creators@reallyverycrunchy.com.
Cool.
That's our email address.
Yeah.
creators@reallyverycrunchy.com. Tell us what your goals are.
Mm-hmm.
What are some of your goals? If we don't
if it's going to mess you up and you get the satisfaction of telling it.
Don't tell us your goals.
Just
go do it. Go do what you want to do.
And then tell us. Yeah.
Tell us a goal you have accomplished.
There you go.
And then keep the new one to yourself.
The grittiness going, but keep the grit.
Keep the grit.
Yeah.
Keep the grit.
Thank you for listening to the Really Very Crunchy podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure you leave a review and check out our show notes to see something wanted to come out of my mouth. To see more from the Morrow family.
Thank you for listening.